Welcome to Basketball Network. My name is Harry, and today we'll be talking to GANON Baker, one of the best basketball skills coaches in the world. GANON, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Hey, it's an honor to be here on such a great platform. I enjoyed talking to you. It's a small world. Basketball brings people together. It's a great life. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. Let's start it off with the finals. What are your thoughts on the finals? The Lakers crowned as champions for the 17th time in their history. Was it a surprise for you, or did you expect it going down like that?
Well, the whole season was a surprise with the COVID and the bubble and the social injustice and stand they had. But no, I think they were built for this. That's why they put this team together. That's why they put this coaching staff together. They had some veterans on that team that have done it before, and Rondo and Danny Green and obviously LeBron. So, you add the piece with Anthony Davis. It's a team that you knew were either going to win it this year or next year. But I enjoyed it. I think, the Heat surprised a lot of people. They beat some great teams in the Celtics and the Bucks. And, they do it the right way. They do it the right way. They give hope to a lot of coaches and teams that don't have the best talent, but have the best chemistry, that have the best culture. And I think as a coach, it gives us hope that, we can still continue to, keep teaching that and because everybody can't get the best players. And when you do, man, it's hard as crap to coach the best players. You know what I mean? It's hard to coach talent for many reasons. And, the Heat did it with lesser talent. And so I was really pleased, and it's just really refreshing to watch.
Definitely amazing what they did with, I guess, without a major superstar. Jimmy Butler is definitely a star, but nobody really puts him in the ranks with Kevin Durant and LeBron James and those guys. So it's really amazing what Spo and the team around him did with Miami.
Yeah, their spirit is unbelievable, and we can learn a lot as coaches from Eric Spoelstra, from Jimmy Butler. And so for any young players or coaches out there that really want to study how to get the most out of a team and the mental strategies and emotional strategies and the right way to play, just research the Heat and what they've done in the bubble and the interviews now after. The other night I'm watching Eric Spoelstra, and he gets on the platform and he can't stop crying. And it wasn't the fact that he lost. It was the fact that he got so much out of his guys that it was just, moving. And, you're just so proud of these guys, and you love these guys so much because what they did was really a miracle.
Definitely. Gannon, you've been around the game of basketball, skill training, and the coaching world for about 30 years. How did you start, and what got you into skill training specifically?
Well, I wasn't good enough to continue playing in Europe. I played briefly in Iceland. I tried out for the NBA, Denver Nuggets, and got cut. I wasn't good enough as a player. And so to me, I think what got me into coaching is I love basketball so much I didn't want to get away from it. And even before, going to Europe, I tried college coaching for 5 years. I was the NCAA assistant coach, Division I, Division II, and I just didn't get enough basketball. I'm a hooper. I want to be on the court. I want to get my reps. I want to get my coaching reps. And with college coaching, you just didn't get a lot of coaching reps. So, to me, the industry, the game of basketball needed private coaches. Football had their quarterback coaches, golf, baseball had their private coaches, physical fitness. When I started in the year 2000, that was a big trend. And there was nothing in basketball. A lot of these coaches in high school in the United States couldn't work with their players. It was illegal, in middle school, high school. The AAU circuit, all they were doing was playing games and showcases. So, there was a niche, there was a void there for extra work. And so I filled it. And so I just started, man, with a little business card, no really website. I don't think the internet was even invented then. And I just had an email and a phone number. So literally, man, I'd go into gyms and look at guys and say, hey, man, you need to hire me. You need work on your jumper. And they're like, why? I'm like, well, because you can't beat me in shooting. Matter of fact, I'll beat you with both my hands. I'll play your left, I'll play your right, And then they get mad and they say, well, you can't play. I was like, all right, well, if I beat you one-on-one, you got to train with me. And that's literally how I started. That's literally
crazy.
how I started, training. And currently I've been to 48 countries, multiple NBA superstars, WNBA, and still trying to grow, still trying to learn. But it's really amazing how much passion can push you to your purpose.
Again, and there's a lot of reflection just in your room.
Okay.
I don't know if you can just move to the left a little bit or something.
Yeah. There's
awesome. That's so much better. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's fine. We still see the Jordan jersey, so that's awesome.
Yeah. And you see Dominique in the background too?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, man, it's a great life. It's something that I have passion for, and I've always wanted to, get involved with the skill development part of the game, and so that's what I do. I just develop players on both ends, and mentally and physically, and really love what I do.
Amazing platform you've built, and really inspiring story. Just from the start. Like you said, you've trained many players from the NBA, WNBA, CBA, EuroLeague, collegiate level, high school. I mean, everything. Can you just walk us through the process of, preparing for a training session? How do you prepare, and how do players prepare? For example, a pro player training session.
Yeah, well, with a pro, it's talking to him, it's talking to his agent. If I can get to it, it's talking to his head coach or player development coach, and just finding out his strengths, his weaknesses, and then, his role for next year. And so you always want to make sure that you accentuate the strengths, continue to keep that, continue to make sure he's a superstar in his role. And then, adding another tool, as Kobe would say, to his toolbox, adding one more notch to his belt. And so with that, it's interviews, it's meetings, and then it's film. And so once you get the film, you take the film to the court, make sure that you're getting them game shots, make sure you're playing within his system and formation that he's always in. Obviously, you never want to get a pro hurt, so you're very aware of burnout, of injury, a lot of injury prevention stuff. And then, man, these guys are they're young kids. And so you want to keep the game fun. Always try to have a childlike heart, but a basketball, respectful adult mind. And so you keep the workouts fun and fresh. I think that's why a lot of pros have hired me, because I'm different. I'm a little eccentric when I work out. I like to add music. I like to rhyme a little bit. I like to bring in some pop culture, charisma, if you will. I guard guys, and so that kind of freshness keeps them continuing to want to work, to want to be good. Now, obviously, the great ones don't need to be motivated, but like I said, a lot of the young pros that want to be great, you kind of have to incite that and keep them motivated to where they bring it every day. So, just because they're in NBA doesn't make them perfect. They have kryptonite, so to speak, too.
Exactly. And you mentioned that working with pros and I guess with the most talented guys is often really hard. Did you ever work with a pro whose attitude wasn't right, or just, I guess, that he wasn't on the same wavelength as yours, didn't reciprocate, the needed energy for the training session? How did you handle situations like these?
100%. I mean, like I said, just because they're pros doesn't make them perfect. It's all relative. Kids struggle with work ethic and confidence on the high school level or club level, and you see that in the pro level. And so, yeah, I've had many pros that were lazy, weren't consistent, too much into the social life, weren't committed, didn't get their rest the night before, didn't really watch their diet, didn't think it was important to have good body language and positive talk, and being consistent in their motor, so to speak. And so what you do, you just hopefully, before you've done your actual physical work, you do your mental work. And so you really find out what motivates them. What's their why? And a lot of these guys, they want to get to a second contract. Some guys want to, win a championship and a chip. Some guys want to, be an all-star. But it's whatever their carrot is, whatever their motivation is. When you see that detrimental behavior, right? I call it, you're hanging out in the dungeon of despair. you address it, right? Because you're only sick as your secrets. If you don't confront, you'll never come to a resolution. You know, I mean, I always say that, you know, with any problem, you got to have positive confrontation. So I confront it. I get it out in the open. I meet them where they're at. You know, I don't mince words, and I just tell them, you know, this is your, you know, which we're going to do. You're acting like this. You're not going to get there. And if they still don't buy in the next day, I'm bringing in stats, or I'm bringing in guys just like them that were first round pick. Now they're not playing. First round, you know, second contract. They didn't get a third contract because of this. You know, all the deadbeat stories that you hear of guys that, you know, get drafted or potentials off the charts, but because of this self-inflicting attitude, right? This self-sabotaging behavior, they're not there anymore. And so you bring in articles and videos and try to just make them aware. You know what I mean? And so I've done that. I've tried to kick players out, but the agent wouldn't let me. And the guy that hired me, you know, a guy named John Lucas, hired me to train some of his pros, and some of them, you know, everybody knows who these guys are. If I mentioned it, I was like, look, man, coach, they're not working out anymore. And John was like, well, that's your job to get them to work out. You can't kick them out. That's the easy thing to do. You got to figure it out. Don't kick them out. I'm like, good point. So, you know, I've tried to do that as a young coach, kick them out, but that doesn't work. They want to be kicked out. You know what I mean? They're doing that on purpose to see if you're going to come at them. And so you, as a coach, part of what you got to do is take their body to a place where it doesn't want to go. Take their mind to a place where it's never been. You know, and you do that with your words, with your actions. You model it. You transfer energy, your drills. It's everything. And that's the fun part. You know, the fun part is when you connect with a pro. The fun part is when you get a player, whether it's great or not, to really buy in, to play with passion, to play with intensity, to play with intelligence, and you really see growth taking place day to day, week to week, month to month. And that's a great job, regardless of if it's a pro or not.
Awesome. Just getting them out of their comfort zone and motivating them. That's
exactly
really great. Gannon, I've browsed a lot through your website. I saw that you offer an online basketball curriculum where you offer basic, intermediate, advanced, and pro bundles with all sorts of video workouts for all stages of player development. How did it come about? Can you just talk more about the curriculum? And is COVID something that inspired you to push this even more?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, you know, for any coach, you got to have a playbook. You got to have a philosophy, and your philosophy must be clear, must be correct. You must teach it with conviction. And so when I first started back in 2000, as I said, I was a former high school, college, European, you know, Iceland, if you will, player. And I coached in college for 5 years. So I had a little bit of philosophy. And so as I started to coach skills, I want to make sure that I was clear and I owned and I could teach what I know in a flow. And so the only way to do that is you got to have a book. You got to have your philosophy. It's not as much many drills, but it's concepts. You know, what you believe in, how you're going to teach the pivot, how you're going to teach the on ball, how you going to teach spacing within your program, how you're going to teach kids to battle through adversity and mistakes, and how are you going to teach a kid that overestimates their talent, how are you going to teach a kid that underestimates their talent, how are you going to define a role and alert the player of the strengths and weaknesses. So it's the holistic, right, approach as a coach: physical, mental, emotional. And then with pros, you got to add social and financial. So it's just a constant organizing my intel. And, you know, full circle 20 years later, we have everything you need to know as a player from the development standpoint, and a coach from basic to pro. And it's PDFs, it's videos, it's the mental, it's the emotional, it's the physical, you know, 1-on-0, 2-on-0, 3-on-0. And then, you know, we've added, hey, if you'd like to follow my footsteps as a coach and run your own business, well, here's how to do it globally. Here's how to do it on every level. And so I just have taken my experience and putting it on paper so that people don't have to go through the pain I went through as a player, coach, and businessman. And then, you know, they can get to success quicker because of some of the strategies and solutions that I've found, you know, pretty available and correct.
Mhm.
But yes, COVID, to not cut you off, COVID has enhanced that, because in March, all my traveling stopped. I usually go about 6 months on the road a year. COVID made us pivot. And so we're developing it and adding to it and pushing out even more, because it's needed. It's needed more. People have a little more time to study and to sit down and grow. So we've done that.
It definitely looks great, and you know, for all those aspiring players, whatever level they may be, just a shout out. You know, check out the
Thank
online
you.
basketball curriculum. Gannon, can you talk more about the evolution of the game in the last 20 years? You know, the small ball, fast pace, you know, 3-point oriented league, and if it has in any way changed your approach and the way you coach.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from a defensive standpoint, from 2000 to now, you know, the game has gotten less physical to me. You know, guys aren't as able to use their body as more on defense. And so from that, you know, you see the multi-skill sets of every position. Now you got, you know, the trend of basketball is pace, you know, push it, space, create gaps and lanes, and let's just drive it to the paint. Let's get paint touches. You know, let's drive. If we don't have a shot, let's kick it out for threes. And so I have, but ironically, man, I based my philosophy on playing in Europe, on going to Europe so much early on in my career to coach and train others. Is I started from the beginning training players at every position to pass, to shoot, to dribble. You know, just because I had a big player didn't mean that all we worked on was mid post, low post moves, rebounding, and all that. I just treated each player not like a number, right? Not a position, but I tried to build the player. And so, but now that's normal. You know, back in 2000, you had double low post offenses, you had triangle offenses. Now, very few offenses have and occupy the low post. You know, 10 years ago, you had people running to the rim, right, on fast breaks. Now they're first player down might spread out to the, you know, to the corner or to the slot. And so, you know, you've seen the game turn into everybody switching on defense, and so it's become a one-on-one type of game. But the great teams learn how to play one-on-one in 3 seconds. Mm-hmm. And so I think I've gotten a better job of having kids, you know, be efficient when they have the ball, so that the ball doesn't stick. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things I've seen. And then you have, you know, people playing east-west more to get a shot off. You know, I think the shot clock changes a lot. So, you know, old school is, hey, you got to go downhill, you got to drive to the rim. Well, now it's like, you know, a give and go, which the NBA calls a zoom action. I might pass to the wing instead of cutting to the rim. I might chase it and go get it back, and then dribble 2 dribbles to the corner to get my shot off, which, you know, 10 years ago, you're like, man, that's just bad basketball. But today, it's all about if you practice it and can play it, right, you can do it. And that's normal. And so the NBA, Europe takes these concepts and it trickles down to high school and middle school. And now you have all these trainers that if they put the time in with these kids and do it right, you know, you see some pretty neat stuff at the grassroots level. Mm-hmm. So, you know, with technology, with trainers, the kids are able to do so many more things now at an early age if they put the time in.
Mm-hmm. Do you see the game ever going back to its roots in a way, and being a big guy game and having, you know, dominant centers running the league?
Sure, I think so. I think, yeah, because it just takes 1 or 2 teams, 1 or 2 coaches and programs to win a lot of games at a certain philosophy, and then people will start to copy it. So yeah, I mean, you know, I went to Dean Smith's Carolina basketball school for 3 years. I was offered to walk on to their team, and so I was familiar with the passing game. And Dean Smith, for over 2 decades, ran a lot of passing game. Roy Williams at Kansas did the same thing, where you had a double low post or a high low post. And, you know, you might see that come back now. You know, every now and then like Toronto will do this. Jonas Valanciunas, who I've had a chance to work with as a youngster, you know, they do some roll and replace stuff and high-low. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely, man. Anything's possible. Life's always changing. The game's always changing. 100% it might go back. You know, there's a chance that it might go back to you know, playing off the post if, you know, we continue to get these big guys that, you know what, I don't like shooting threes. I just want to dunk on you, like Yao Ming, like Tim Duncan. You know what I mean? Who knows? So, but I like where the game's at. I enjoy watching it. It's fun to watch for just regular fans, you know, to watch the Golden State Warriors, to watch LeBron, you know, play. I don't think it's fun watching one guy have the ball like a James Harden for 15 seconds, you know, but I like to see guys go at it and space out if they can do something in 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm. I'm more of an old school guy, so just hoping, you know, to see more of that bully ball and 90s basketball. But,
yep.
You know,
Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, but when talking about old school, I saw Penny Hardaway gave you really an awesome testimonial regarding your coaching mentorship. You know, when a legend like Penny, you know, refers to you as a legend, it definitely helps with your stature as one of the best skills coaches out there. Can you talk more about the coaching mentorship?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Harry. I was humbled by what Penny said. You know, he's a player that I grew up watching, and we're almost the same age. And for him to find value in what I do, it really motivates me to continue to be my best. I'm not really concerned about being the best. I just want to do my best and bring my best. But, you know, I think every coach that has ever been successful, every player, anybody who's gone to a level, used somebody else, had to have somebody else. They had to have a Yoda. They had to have a Miyagi, right? They had to have a sensei. They had to have a mentor like Eric Spoelstra. We're talking about him now. Pat Riley, right? Frank Vogel, I think his first job was with Pitino. Larry Brown. So everybody has their OG, if you will, right? Either old guy or old gangster, whatever.
Who was
somebody
your mentor?
Who was my mentor? Great question. From a distance, the guy that really inspired me, I saw him every summer, got to have lunch with him at times at 5-star camp, QB Brown. You know, just, okay, that's how you coach. And then Rick Pitino from a distance, but a guy that really helped me sink my teeth into skill development is a guy named Kevin Eastman. World champion with Doc, worked with Doc Rivers for many, many years, both Clippers and Celtics. You know, he's the one that really allowed me to ask quality questions, take notes, go to his workouts. I mean, he actually got me a job with the Celtics in 2007. I didn't take it, but he was able to get them to offer me that and have a chance to ride with them. But,
awesome.
You know, I spent 3 weeks with John Lucas. And then every summer I'd spend maybe 4, 5, 6 days with him, and he would constantly pour into me. So a guy named Pete Strickland, who actually coached me high, and he was my boss when I coached at Coastal Carolina. So those guys right there, they just, you know, they're men that tour your life. So that's what a mentor is. It's a man or woman to tour your life, to praise right, correct wrong, to give you the hard truths, to let you know that a boy, or, hey, you got to get better at that. You know, and I think every player needs the same thing. There was a great article on Tyler Hero about how his breakout came to fruition. And he said in his article, I kept a red spiral notebook around, and I wrote down every lesson that I could learn from every practice, every meeting, every game. And then Jimmy Butler mentored me. Dragic mentored me. For a guy that's on top of the world, white dude, living in Miami, multimillionaire, right? Kentucky born, bred. Dude, for him to be humble enough to be mentored at such a young age speaks a lot to his maturity, because a lot of these cats, man, they think they've arrived. They let success be their enemy because, you know, they become ungrateful. They become arrogant. They become selfish. They don't listen. They don't buy in. And a mentor really keeps you humble. A mentor keeps you grounded. They make you feel ignorant in a good way so that you continue to grow. And if you grow, you have joy. If you have joy, nobody can break your coaching swag or routine.
Mhm. And
So
Mhm.
that's excuse me, and that's something I'm enjoying doing. I'm mentoring players, many and coaches, many different countries, many different cultures through COVID, doing it virtually. Um, them coming to my house, we live right on the beach, so it's a fun vacation for them. But I'm able to really break down and enhance everything they're doing. It's a
Mhm.
special thing. I'm enjoying pioneering this in our industry because there's just not a lot of that going on at the level that we're doing it.
Mhm. That's really great. How do you manage all of those people? I assume you're in touch with a lot of coaches and players all the time. Are you on
Man,
Zoom all the time?
yeah, Zoom, FaceTime, I have files. I got a great business team. You've met Mihai, and there's about 6, 7 other people that we subcontract with that we bring in. Without them, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not that tech savvy. A lot of times my time is under the gun, so that they make it efficient for me. They help me get organized. And yeah, Harry, so far so good, man. We haven't messed anybody's lives up. So let's
Mm,
keep praying for us, man.
that's great. Can you talk more about the Gannon Baker certification for coaches? I read that over 2,500 coaches earned the certification. What's the process like?
Well, it's a little bit like the FIBA certification, but it's more in depth, more personal, more detailed. Basically, they have 4 levels they go through. They can go through basic to pro. It's a physical test. It's a video test, and then if they want to get to another level and be master certified, they come see me live. Whether it's in an event, whether it's a workout, whether it's my home and we're mentoring, and if they continue to want to if they continue to want to be mentored and we connect and I think they bring value, we send them to other places on our behalf to work camps, to work guys out. And so, the certification, I'm not sure it's going to get them a job. I mean, my name recognition might help them, it might not, but it's more
Mhm.
important. It's validating what they know. It's a badge of honor. It's just another way to help them get experience and get coaching reps
Mhm.
in a neat and unique way.
But it's also, like you said, a badge of honor and probably really good for their networking when somebody sees that they've been
Sure.
certified by you.
Sure. Everybody doesn't know who I am, but it doesn't hurt having somebody that's good in the industry that's been around to put that on their resume. So a few people that have put my name on the resume, they said it's helped them get that job. But again,
Mhm.
there's many people out in the world that can help you. I'm just blessed and honored that people would trust me and that they would go through my certification.
You recently opened up a new division in China. I think this was 2 years ago. Are you thinking about opening up new offices elsewhere, like Europe or Africa? And
Yeah.
and just to finish off, has NBA's distancing from China in any way affected your business there?
Yeah, great question. And I'm real transparent when I do these things. We started a business in China 4 years ago,
For
and yeah, and we were rolling. Like we were rolling. We were in a different city. I was about 4 months in China a year, 2 months in Europe, United States, and we were building something special there just because of the passion. I mean, Harry, you could have done it. Anybody that's good in basketball, that has a passion for basketball, that's intelligent, could have gone over to China and ran a basketball business. I just happened to be one of the first ever to go over to China back in 2009 and really develop some good camps
Mhm.
and some good workouts and good coaching classes. And so I mean, what can I say? We were rolling, and then COVID.
Mhm.
So right now we're on pause. We're nothing. We're the NBA. I got two coaching classes canceled in October of last year because of the Morey thing, and
Mhm.
that was just a small prick, but uh, it was a thorn in our side. But that didn't stop the whole business. But basically, when you have a pandemic and you're not allowed to travel in China, and if you do, you got to be quarantined for 3 weeks. Yeah, that's not working. That's not. So
Mhm.
right now we're just at pause. Other countries, it's the same thing. Like, people reach out, they want us. I'm supposed to go to the country of Jordan in the Middle East in December, but we were all set to sign the contract, but then something got in the way this week, and it's just Yeah, until they find a vaccine, I don't think we're going to do anything live in these countries. But we are setting up a platform to do it virtual. To push our curriculum, to educate the masses, and a lot of free mentoring and stuff we're doing. I did something with Argentina and Brazil a couple months ago. So, virtually, yes, but to run a legitimate flesh, live, like I'm used to business where we go there and do seminars. Because I can't, the worst thing about my business area, I can't scale myself.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So
But multiply yourself.
Yeah, when it's not a system, it's just me and my experience and my authenticity. So when people want, live stuff, I have to go. And so until this pandemic is pushed out, then, we're going to have to deal with it the way it is. But yes, we have plans to do that in other countries.
Did you ever think about, developing a young Padawan, somebody who is going to continue your legacy and maybe scale your business as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you Google the great skill trainers out there, Drew Hanlon asked me to work for him. Asked me to mentor him when he was younger. He's a good skill trainer. Tyler Ralph, who does a good job, he worked for me. Michael Lancaster is popular, and there's my son. He's about to go to school. All these guys worked for me except Drew, and then they left because they were good, and so it was hard to keep them. I'll go there, but I'll be there in a few minutes. Okay.
Makes sense. All right. Makes sense.
So it was just hard for me to keep these guys on board because they eventually, they understood, hey, I can do what you do.
They want to start their own path. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and that's why I believe in my mentorship, because everybody, Cody Toppert's another one. He basically worked for me 5-6 years, and then he went on to Phoenix, Houston. Now he's with Penny Hardaway at University of Memphis. If anybody spends time with me, I don't know if I'm the best out there, but I'll tell you what, I'll get you straight. I'll get you the right information. I'll show you how to have perspiration. I'll give inspiration so you can have a realization of success. I mean, people that have spent time with me a lot of them go on to do great things. Again, they're self-motivated, right? They're disciplined, but I have a very efficient, effective way to teach. I have a lot of basketball and life in me. And so, we're not hiding it. We're not, holding it tight. We're sharing it. We're getting rid of it. I'm an open book. And so
the energy and the passion is contagious. That's really good.
Exactly. And so is learning. And so our mentorship works. Our mentorship really helps people get where they need to go. So
you've worked with many NBA players, the late great Kobe Bryant, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul, Amar'e Stoudemire, etc. Can you perhaps share maybe a few anecdotes about one of these, and perhaps whose game do you feel you've impacted the most?
Well, I mean, obviously, everybody loves Kobe, and so I just remember Kobe. We're doing a stretching exercise, and a couple of the players that were working out with us weren't taking it seriously. And so these were younger players. I mean, all American college kids at the time. They all, you'll know who they are. They all went on to be great NBA players. They were messing around in the warm-ups. They weren't taking stretching seriously. And then Kobe just went off of them. He's like, that's why you're not going to have a long career. That's why I'm going to bust your ass when I see you. That's why you're not going to get to the second contract. You drive a truck. My body's a Ferrari. This is important. I mean, he just went off. And I'm like, man, and I'm thinking too, man, it's just warm-ups. And I'm thinking, no, it's warm-ups. It's important. So like, I'm as motivated as they come, and he motivated me. It's like, but I don't know. I mean, I only spent a little bit of time with him. I don't know if I impacted his game. He impacted mine. And that's the thing, Harry. Like, a lot of these guys are great. When you work them out, you probably take more from them as you're giving to them. Now, I lived with Amar'e Stoudemire for 3 years when he played for Phoenix during the summer. And, I definitely helped him. I helped him have a consistent, more professional approach to his game. He was a pick and roll guy. He was an athletic guy. He was a rim run dunk guy, and he was great at it. High energy motor. And so we really worked on playing polished, playing with efficiency, playing with consistency. I remember a story. We worked out maybe 100 times one summer. I had 100 meetings, and he showed up for 99 of them. And the one time he didn't show up on time, ready to go, I left. And so when he got to the gym, he called me, "Hey man, where are you at? We're supposed to work out." I said, "Yeah, that was an hour ago." I'm like, "I'm not a babysitter. Your money doesn't influence me to treat you like you want to be treated. I'm gonna treat you like you need to be a champion. I'm gonna treat you like a winner, and winners beat me to the gym." And so he cursed at me. I thought I was gonna get fired. And I was like, "Look, I make more money in a week than you're paying me in a month, man. So if you want to throw the business thing, then I'm not doing you a favor. So, I mean, what do you want?" And so he texted me that night at about midnight. And he said, "Man, I apologize for unprofessionalism. It'll never happen again. Let's meet tomorrow at 6 a.m. to make up for that workout." Because usually we work out about 9:30. But the next day, yeah, he wanted to get 2 workouts in. And that's what pros do. Like the great ones are accountable, right? The great ones can take the punches. The great ones can take the hits. The great ones, they don't fear the truth because he knows what I was saying is the truth. And when I said it, I wanted to make sure I was right. I had to make sure that I did it with conviction. But, that's a great story with Amar'e is that, and that's why he's still playing. You think he's in Israel right now. He's in great shape, takes care of his body. He learned to play a little bit more finesse, face up, pick and pop guy now, not bully ball bang. And so, these guys, Chris Paul, there was nothing I could do to enhance his skill level. Like he could, everything I showed him, he could do, but he was constantly in the workouts asking me, "Look, break me, give me something hard, teach me something I don't know." And as a coach, it was challenging because in high school, yeah, I could. But when he became a pro and an all-star and I got him again, it's like, man, I just want to make sure that you're consistent. You hit 10 in a row. Can you hit 11? I just want to make sure that I was continuing to add tools to his toolbox. Hey, you had a great workout. Let's do it again tomorrow. It was always pushing the envelope. And they wanted that. They wanted to feel like they were the worst player in the gym. They wanted failure. They embraced mistakes. And that's so hard to get young players to do. Young players fear failure. And I think champions, the great players I've been around, embrace it.
Get out of your comfort zone and be hungry. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Paul told me one time, he's like, "Look, make me uncomfortable because you can be comfortable or you can be great, but you can't be both." And they understood that it was a skill and a talent to be comfortable with the unknown, to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And so as a coach, if you can do that in a workout with your tone, with your energy, with your pace, with your expectations, right? Pros are going to take your expectations and then exceed them. I'll go above and beyond. And I think that's really neat.
Those are some great stories. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Can you perhaps outline the most important factors in becoming successful, just for coaches and or players, the magic formula, if you will?
Well, I don't think there's any magic formula, but I know this, you better, as I said in my philosophy, what you teach has to be clear, right? Like, are you organized? Do you make sense? Do you really put time and importance in your vocabulary, in your teaching points, in your teaching methods, in your teaching style? Number 2, make sure what you're teaching is correct. Like, as I said, the way I coached as a college coach in 1996 is a little bit different than I'm coaching now in 2020. So, are you evolving and growing? Or are you a stale, stuck, sticky coach? Nobody wants to play for a grumpy old man, grumpy old woman. I mean, you got to have that correctness in your, what are the trends of the game? What's your personnel? What's this guy's kryptonite, and how are you going to deal with it? Like, you have to you treat everybody fair, but you treat people differently. You know what I mean? And so you got to make sure what you are teaching physically, from a physical standpoint, mental, emotional standpoint, is correct. And then you got to do it with charisma and conviction. You own it. Like, as many practices as I've gone through. Oh, I mean, I don't get to coach in the games. I wake up and I get to go to practice. That's it. Well, that's a lot of practices, man. You can't get into the law of familiarity or redundancy or boredom or fatigue and staleness. You have to bring your energy, your fun, your motor, your excitement, your joy, your passion, right? Your connectiveness, your, reciprocity has to be given in relationships. There has to be communication. So you got to do that day in, day out. And so with that, if you can have that, clear, correct conviction and charisma, you're going to win regardless of where you're at, and then when I say win, guess what? Everybody can't win chips. Everybody can't win trophies, but maybe you can help that kid, right? That man, that young woman, be a living trophy, meaning they go on into life and love and be successful at what they're doing, like you, like me. We're two former hoopers that took the lessons that Aroli gave us, right? My coach was Jerry Wainwright, John Carroll, Kevin Eastman. And now we're adding that to our families, to our relationships, to our communities, who right now all over the world, wherever you live, you're craving for positive. You're craving for passion. You're craving for empathy, right? You're craving for positive role models that you can,
exactly.
you can hang out with. So that all of that, as a coach, your two main jobs is to teach them how to win in basketball, and you'll do that. And you got to teach them how to win in life. And that's it. If you can apply that to every drill, practice, meeting, that's a great recipe for success. That's the secret sauce, if you will.
The secret formula. Thanks for those points. Really, really a lot of wisdom. All right, Gannon, we like to wrap up all of our interviews with a few quick fire questions. So just really short questions and answers.
All right, man. I love this.
The best player you've ever worked with?
Kevin Durant.
All right. The player with the best handles you've ever worked with?
No, hands down, Kyrie Irving. Chris Paul, great, but to me, live, Kyrie Irving, unreal.
It makes sense. Some of the things he does is just unbelievable. Who's the GOAT?
Michael Jordan. No, hands down. LeBron might be right there, but you forget about Kareem. I don't know how we can compare, but in my eyes, you can't tell me anybody better than Michael Jordan.
I would have to agree with you. The best shooter ever?
Steph Curry.
All-time starting five?
Oh, I don't know. At my point, probably Magic. At my 2, Jordan. At my 3, LeBron. I know I'm forgetting Kobe, but number 4, Hakeem, and number 5, Kareem.
Very respectable.
Yeah, I don't know how there's no right answer unless you put Tiny Archibald in there, but there's just so many great players, Good question though.
Best coach of all time?
Oh, John Wooden.
Mm-hmm. Best international player of all time?
Man. Drazen Petrovic to me.
I've done quite a few of these, and Drazen or Sabonis, Nowitzki are some of the most common questions. But yeah.
I would agree with Nowitzki, but ask me that in 30 years after Luka finishes.
Mm-hmm. Probably gonna, yeah, that's a good point.
But I went to the museum in Croatia, and that did it for me, just to hear the stories and obviously watching him. To me, but again, I'm not an expert on European basketball, but that's the first name that popped into my head. Second was probably Dirk,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
So you've been to Zagreb, Croatia?
yes, yeah, we did 2 years. We did the Jordan Brand Classic. I worked for Michael Jordan for about 10 years. Me and Tim Grover
Yeah.
got to know each other, and we would go to Europe and just work out the best 16, 17-year-olds in Europe at all these different spots, you know, and Croatia was one of the spots one year.
That's great. All right, Gannon, that's about it. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure talking with you. You know, I wish you all the best in the future with Gannon Baker basketball, and hopefully COVID and everything ends soon so you can continue your live sessions as much as possible.
Hey, thank you, man. Thanks for the prayers, Harry. I enjoyed this, man. I wish we could do this every week, man. This is awesome. Thanks for your time.
Let's schedule something in a few months again.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.